Yeah, so last week was a busy week. There was committee action, there was budget action, there was a legislative tour. So we have a lot going on. And to kind of kick off the week, on Tuesday, the Senate Agriculture, Energy, and Environment Committee met, and they heard a couple of bills. They heard Senate Bill 211, which was a bill to permit multi-state water and sewer authority. And Senate Bill 282, which was a bill to require notice before veterinary medical board inspections. On Wednesday, the House Agriculture Committee met and heard one bill. That was House Bill 377, the Grade A Dairy Assessment Act, which allows the North Carolina Dairy Producers Association to conduct a referendum for a potential assessment on Grade A milk that would be used for dairy promotion in the state. So that bill was passed out of committee, and it will be heard in the House Finance Committee next. Yeah, so last week the House released their proposed budget. They released it on Wednesday evening. It was heard in the Appropriations Committee on Thursday. There were also some various appropriations committees where they met to kind of review the details of the proposal. Ultimately, they did hear some amendments as well. So let's maybe talk about a few of the highlights from the proposed budget, and then we can run through the amendments that were impacting agriculture. So in the proposed House state budget, highlights for agriculture include funding for sweet potato promotion. That was $650,000 each year of the biennium for that. There was a large animal health care enhancement fund that was created, and that would establish funding for grants of up to $25,000 for large animal veterinarians who practice in rural areas. The North Carolina Agriculture Manufacturing and Processing Initiative, or NCAMPI, would be established. That would be a new project that would be established where funding would be provided for cost share grants to new and expanding agricultural manufacturing facilities to help with things like site development, infrastructure costs, building construction, and equipment. And that funding would be established at $25 million per year in the proposed budget. The Tobacco Trust Fund also would receive $9 million in fiscal year 2023 through 24 and $5 million in fiscal year 2024 through 25. The Streamflow Rehabilitation Assistance Program would receive additional funding in the amount of $20 million of non-recurring funds, and that would be used for ongoing maintenance and restoration of streams across the state in support of flood mitigation efforts. Farmland preservation would receive $20.1 million in each year of the biennium for conservation easements, and the Tobacco Farm Life Museum would receive funding to move that facility under the North Carolina Museum of History as a satellite facility. So on Thursday, the House Appropriations Committee met and heard many amendments. A couple of those relate to agriculture. One of them is for Christmas tree research. An amendment was passed that would provide $512,000 for a directed grant to the North Carolina Christmas Tree Association for genetic and infestation research. And then another amendment was passed for beef cattle, which would provide $100,000 to the North Carolina Cattlemen's Association. Of course, this is the budget process, and there are many steps along the way. This is just kind of the first round in the House, and so this bill will continue to move through the House. There will be a Senate bill as well, and then there will, of course, be negotiations and ultimately consideration by the governor. So there's a lot of steps involved with this process, and this is just one of the steps along the way. So we ended the week with a little bit of fun and a little bit of work out at NCGA State University. This is part of an ongoing series of tours that we have been doing throughout last year and this year to kind of highlight research and development efforts in agriculture. And so we've been visiting research stations around the state and working with the Department of Agriculture, NC State University, NCA&T State University, and others to host these tours. So on Friday, we, along with Guilford County Farm Bureau and the other organizations and agencies that I just mentioned, the Carolina Farm Stewardship Association and the North American Truffle Growers Association, all collaborated to host a tour at NCA&T State University Farm. North Carolina House and Senate members got to view truffle research. They saw ginger and other specialty crop research that's ongoing. They got to see an overview of all of the livestock and poultry production that's going on at the farm. And then they also got to have a terrific lunch with some North Carolina grown products. So it was a great day, a great opportunity to share information with legislators about our state's #1 industry, which is agriculture. We will continue to host these tours. We're working on the next one for possibly June, and we have a lot of interest from legislative members. These have been really well received, and we look forward to doing the next one and reporting on how it goes.